Hello Internet, hello Tumblr as well I guess. This is my first video blog ever, and it's on the topic of Lacuna, more specifically our uni course and my Lacuna task, well the group work task, our task, our group's task I suppose. It's a third year course, well it was a third year course, it's done now, and it was based around the concept of Lacuna. And I'm not going to lie, when I went into the course for the first time, I didn't really pick the course. It kind of was assigned to me because I was a bit late for that. But when I went into the course, I didn't really know what the word meant at all, so I was kind of thrown straight into this already kind of lost and confused state going in. But fairly early on, they tried to explain it, and it was quite a conceptual explanation of what it was. Very broad and very vague, giving us a lot of kind of wiggle room to kind of define it with our own parameters, which was nice, with the upcoming task being such a broad and kind of thought-provoking kind of conceptual assignment. Well, the assignment itself was based on a 5-minute video, and this video was to be centered around the whole concept of Lacuna. But from there, every different group's path kind of divulged itself, I suppose. Everyone started having their own kind of original ideas and thoughts on what this whole Lacuna word actually meant, and how they could interpret it, and how they could express it, what they wanted to express. I got put in the group with 4 other people, 4 plus me is 5, I think that's right. We had me, we had Tony, we had Jonty, Sandy, Jean, and, 6, and, this is awkward, I've forgotten the last person's name. Sophia. Oops, sorry Sophia, but I do remember your name. Moving on from that, this group that I was put in was actually this has been the best group I've ever had the chance to work with at university. Every single person had a very unique and interesting skill set. We had Jonty, who was an excellent cinematographer, great with digital editing, with After Effects, and just brilliant behind the camera. And he was our main cameraman the entire time for this assessment, so that filled that role very nicely. We had Jean, who was just a very out-of-the-box thinker. He came up with a lot of the kind of the animation concepts and the way we would actually turn digital kind of effects into a physical thing that we could film, which gave us a kind of more analog feel to our final film, which was really well done as well. We had Sandy, who kind of just turned into the very outspoken and loud group leader, who kind of was team project manager and kind of reeled in anything that was just getting a bit too out there and a bit too difficult to do, and just kept the whole project moving nice and forward, keeping everyone in the group going and just working hard. And she also obviously was a star in our final film. She was the female lead in it, so awesome from her. Tony did a lot of conceptual work with the idea. He did a lot of exploration on the shots and kind of not really understanding, kind of just working out different scenery, different areas to shoot in, just trying to find interesting locations and interesting shots that would provoke a bit of thought. So he did that. Sophia, she actually came up with our core concept. She came up with the whole idea of Lacuna amnesia, which is what we based our theme on, our video on, was centered around the concept of Lacuna amnesia, and which I'll touch on now actually. So actually, I'll go to what this assessment was so that you people can actually understand. But looking through the blog that I've been posting, you've surely got a bit of an understanding of what's going on. We've been working on a 5-minute conceptual video based on the idea of Lacuna. Our understanding of Lacuna was kind of moved into the area of Lacuna amnesia. So we were looking at the idea of the loss of memory, the loss of your past, just voidism, glitchy kind of abstract thought processes, just really the idea of rediscovering lost thoughts, rediscovering lost memories in one's life. So that's what our kind of central little nugget of ideas was, or our seed was. And from there, it grew and expanded into a couple of different directions, but it mostly stayed on that track of the idea of amnesia and remembering. So with that as our theme, we kind of moved into an area of, well, what are we actually doing now? We've got an idea, but how do we develop it? How do we turn it into a film? How do we make something out of this? How do we make it interesting? How do we express it? And from there, we had a couple of split ideas. I really wanted to do something more on the lines of voidism and focusing on empty spaces and just negative energy. A lot of space stuff, obviously, as you can see, I'm quite into it. There's painting I've done in the background there, some spacey stuff. But we had Jonty, who really wanted to do something a lot more digital and this really glitchy and staticky and just technology based God stuff. So that's where he was coming from. And then we had Sandy, who really wanted to do something more natural, more green, more alive, and more organics. So already there's three completely different ideas that were all bouncing off one another. And from these ideas, they all kind of just nearly merged, and they just merged so well. I'm really surprised at the lack of arguments our whole group had at this. But these ideas just fused together, and from it turned into this concept of Lacuna amnesia, which is what we were doing. And with it, we started thinking about, all right, maybe we want to focus, we do want to tell a story here. We don't want it to just be this glitchy mess of shots and scenery and just trivial this and that. We wanted something to be told here. We wanted to express something. We wanted to make it look cool. So we came up with the idea of these two central characters, a male and a female. We had Sandy as the female and me as the male. And these characters were more or less just trying to recover these thoughts and just regain what they'd lost. And we kept it quite vague with what they'd actually lost and what they were trying to recover. But we kind of used the shots and the environment and the space we had from different locations to express these thoughts of confusion, of just misunderstanding the world around you. And in contrast to that, we then also incorporated a lot of water, which would be used to express the more kind of rebirthing and rediscovering ideas. So we had this contrast between a lot of empty negative space and a lot of kind of big warehouse shots, which were done solely for the purpose of kind of that feel of space and the emptiness. And then these nice water soft shots that really brought back this feeling of recovery and rebirth, nearly healing. That was actually taken from some of Bill Viola's stuff. We really used him as quite a big influence for us, and we really did like to try to incorporate his kind of filming techniques and his ideas of using water as the symbolic notion of resurrection and healing, nearly this Christ-like power of it. But moving on from that, as the film kind of developed, we got so many shots. We had something like 4 or 5 hours of total filming for a 5-minute video, so it got a bit excessive at the end. And a lot of the stuff, nearly all the stuff we used got cut, but we've kept it all because a lot of it's actually really cool, and we wouldn't mind doing a bit more collaboration in the future. But moving on from that, we ended up getting a lot of footage, and from the footage, we had Jonty kind of start working on the story. He'd done a lot of the filming, and he had the best knowledge of the shots we had, so we kind of left it up to him to make the first film draft of our final 5-minute video. We kind of stuck with our core concepts of this glitchy, kind of staticky natured video based on amnesia, but the first structure he presented to us and to our tutors was really glitchy. It was very fast paced, very just scene after scene, just right in your face, trying to show as much content as we could, trying to really get the viewer just kind of shock and awe worth of information. But it turned out to be a bit too much, we all thought, and we couldn't really process what was going on because so much was happening. And we had all these beautiful shots, and we were just showing a second or two of them at a time, and it kind of lost the whole effect of the shot, and the feeling and the heart of it just kind of fell out. So kind of pulled back a bit from that, and from there we kind of developed this film that started slow and really slow. We had a couple shots slow down a bit, and nice close-ups and really nice angled dark shots and empty shots at the start to create this sense of space and emptiness and loss and confusion. And from there we kind of started speeding up gradually, letting the film itself crescendo to this peak where it feels like a massive climax where these two central characters, they bring back everything they've lost, and then it empties out into nothing, and then a nice little touch of nearly a post-credit scene, but I wouldn't even call it that. We decided to incorporate this 15-second black pause after this big crescendo of ideas were presented to the viewer, and this was done for two reasons. One, because we thought this actual black space itself is a lacuna in our video, which we thought was just quite funny. It was like lacunaception, But moving on from that, it was also just a very, very nice contrast, and it was like a moment of calm after this massive build-up, this storm of energy and these raw emotions that we're building. It just strips them all back to nothing and just lets the viewer breathe for a second. So that was how the video progressed, and once we had that structure, we all really loved it. Actually, we all thought it was great. We finished that up and we moved to the sound process. Now, my main job in this group, apart from being awesome, come on with me, I'm dead set awesome, um, was sound. I do a lot of sound stuff. I like just pressing buttons, making sounds and stuff. So this gave me a chance to do what I'm really kind of passionate about, and I'm really stoked for that because during uni I've never had that chance before. I've been doing design or industrial design, which has mostly been focused on physical product making and less on kind of a digital side. So this gave me a chance to really explore a soundscape and develop a soundscape for this video. So what I did, or what I was thinking was, we're doing this feel, glitchy feeling film based on emotions. So I really wanted it to have this staticky analog sound to it, this warm feel, like an old record, an old vinyl record had been spinning, and someone's just dragged a knife across it and let it spin, and it's just. So I kind of used that idea and a TV kind of white noise as the basis for everything. From there, I started working around that, and what I got was um, this organ drone, this little organ progression, which I just had to muck around with and kind of developed and filled out, and it turned into something that I thought was pretty cool, and it allowed the sound to keep moving throughout the video without having a proper melody and a proper kind of progression. And it was sound, it was noise and stuff, but it wasn't a song. It wasn't just white noise and just crap. It was structured glitchiness. I don't know how to describe it exactly. It was some kind of weird mutant hybrid musical thing. But after this organ drone, I kind of moved in towards a different section, which was this subtle guitar, which would peek in early on. That was just to give it a bit more character early on when it was quite empty. But the big part of the music, and the part that I'm most proud of, was the big crescendo before the soundscape drops out of our video, which happens at around the 4-minute mark. It builds up. It's very noticeable. You're not going to miss it. But this spot here, we really wanted to just keep building the sound and keep layering it on and really thicken it out. But while we were doing this, we didn't want to have many artificial sounds. We wanted it to be natural. So we went back to a bunch of the videos we'd done, and we just ripped the sound straight out of there. While we were at Cockatoo Island, we did a lot of filming there. I think I might have mentioned it a bit earlier. But on Cockatoo Island, we found it was this really rainy, stormy day, and I brought just a little recorder with me, and we got some great sounds of just water on glass, water on doors, distant thunder, and all of that. We just tweaked a little bit, boosted the volumes up and cleared it out a bit, and used that to fill out the sound as the video progressed, and just slowly layered a little bit more on, turn up the volume, distort it a little bit, just to thicken it out and give this analog feel. And by the time we hit this climax of this piece that we've been constructing, the sound is so thick and heavy, and it just really pulls you in, and as soon as that sound just drops out, and you're in with that black void in the next shot of the video, I think it just looks really, really cool, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. But that was the basis for the sound. So me and Jonty worked on that mostly together. We collaborated a fair bit with Sandy as kind of like the project manager helping out there. But after that, we had the video nearly sorted, and as I guess a final review to it, since this video is already getting be 15 minutes, and I know someone's gonna have to watch it and mark this, but the the final video, I'm gonna say, has been the funnest project I've ever done at uni, by a long shot. The whole team has been an awesome group of people who I'm really excited to hang out with outside of uni, and just do a bunch of collaborations with, because they're all so talented. And this whole video, I think, I'm just stoked how awesome it's turned out, and I'm pleased we all put in the effort and and made it as awesome, as cool as it was. Um, so a couple final thoughts before I sign out. I'll just say thank you to the tutors who also helped a lot. They were really great, and during the final couple of weeks was when their help really came in. Just notes and thoughts on the video. They really picked up on our first cut, how it was a bit too glitchy and the sound was a bit too melodic, and they told us really make it more kind of more ambient, more natural, and less music video-y. And that's really what I thought pushed the video to another limit. Also like to say, I'm not sure what else I've got to say. I think I've covered most bases here. We've talked about the group, the video itself, my main role, which was the sound, the tutors. I think we pretty much covered everything here. So yeah, I might sign out and post this and see what happens. So thank you to everyone in the class, everyone's video. Actually, one last thing, everyone else's video, everyone in the group or in the Lacuna course. So there was 4 videos. Every single one was just so damn cool. The first one that was presented to us was by a mostly male group, and it turned into this awesome underground kind of like LED dance music rave video thing that was just so intense, and lucky I don't have epilepsy, because I would have a crazy seizure watching that thing. But that was really cool. We had the all-girl group do this sound building up thing and a single shot kind of exercise where characters were moving through a house, and each time a new character appeared, they included a new sound, which built up this awesome soundscape as well. So that was really cool. And then the final group did more of I don't know how I'd describe it. Hyper reality, I think was the word they used to describe it. I'm not sure if I'd put it under that same bracket, but it was done mostly on green screen, and it was about blending and transitioning different environments and different scenes together with a central character. That was also just really cool. And I thought the voice narration that they had 3 or 4 different languages narrating it at different points, and that really just made it something unique and interesting that I've never seen before. So again, super props to that. But I think I might sign off now. I'll say goodbye. Thank you to everyone in the course who has been awesome, and thank you to the tutors who have just done an amazing job and helped us out awesome. Best course I've done in uni so far, so yeah, what else can I say? I'll see you guys later.